Yolan True, and welcome to another exciting day in our galaxy, and welcome to another episode of our little A to Z officer series. But before I talk about the next rare officer, I just want to say, if you're not a subscriber of my channel yet but do like my videos, then please do subscribe to my channel. And when you do, also click this little bell and all notifications so you'll be notified when another video comes out. But now let's have a look at Shran. I know I made a video on him when he was introduced into the game, as I usually do with all the new stuff that's coming in, but now I'm using him for a while and there's also some news about him, and that's why I wanted to make a kind of an update video. He is class engineering, which means you need engineering badges to upgrade him. He's from the group Enterprise NX-01, which means that he can give synergy to a captain of that group, Archer for example, if he's on the bridge with him. And he's from the faction Federation, which means that you need Federation faction credits to upgrade him. When we've seen Shran in the Star Trek Enterprise series, of course he wasn't part of the Federation. There was no Federation yet until the last episode, but he was quite an interesting guy, and he was working with Archer, and because he is from a TV series, there's a longer explanation text in here about Shran for those that haven't seen Star Trek Enterprise. There's always an explanation about the officers in this info box, but in cases like this, it's usually a bit longer one. As you already could hear, he does not have a captain maneuver, but he does have an officer ability and a below deck ability. The officer ability is run from no one, and that means Shran increases base warp speed by 60%. Sometimes you really might want to use that, and there are a few warp speed officers. I prefer the warp range officers for a long time. Nowadays I can, at least in the 60 minus section of the universe, I can kind of reach every place there because of my NX-01. If you upgrade the NX-01 warp range favor for the NX-01, you can get far. But warp speed is sometimes something that is really needed. For example, we do armadas out in deep space. And there you want to use that. Especially if you join in bigger armadas where you definitely get killed because you use a ship that can reach the armada just with a warp range, but it's not very strong for the fight there. And then you want to come back as quickly as you want. And then Shran can be of a big help there, for example. But, and that's what I'm using most of the times, he does have a below deck ability, as I said, and that's the Andorian Mining Consortium. If you've seen Enterprise, you probably will understand the joke. That was the kind of disguise Shran used when they reached the testing site for the Xindi weapon. And so that's quite funny. Although it does have to do with mining, because Shran increases the crystal mining speed by 50%, and that will be 500% at rank 5. And so it's a good mining boost. And I'm using him on my standard crystal miner below deck all the time. And he is just speeding up my crystal mining. And my crystal miner is at the moment the fastest miner. The gas and my ore miner are a bit slower. So Shran's help there does indeed add to all the other advantages I have for crystal mining at the moment. But of course, if you choose not to use him for that, as a rare officer, he does have two abilities for away team assignments, and that's Warrior and Miner. But you see that I haven't unlocked any of those, because I indeed have Shran the whole time on my crystal miner and do not send him out for away teams. And now we come to the kind of good news, not for all levels, but still good news, because until recently I would have had to say I don't know any regular place where you can recruit Shran outside of events. I had to say it for another officer this week already, but with Shran they very recently changed that. Now there is a regular place to recruit him, but only for those people who can reach the Mirror Universe and take part in the Mirror Universe stuff, because he's now in the Mirror Universe refinery and here in the Liquid Trillium D store, where you find the NX-01 crew exchange. And here's not only Tucker, Phlox, T'Pol, but it's also Shran and Hoshi Sato. And so that is where you can get shards for Shran for exchanging Trillium D that you collect in the Mirror Universe by either defeating hostiles or mining. I still do it via defeating hostiles, because in the 20 minutes I can get more Trillium D out of hostiles than out of the mines there. And so I use that for the Trillium D, and then if I have enough, I can exchange it here. And with one chest, you have a chance only, but still a chance to get 1, 2, or 3 Shran shards per pull. And so that's the chance to get Shran if you haven't gotten him yet in the arc when NX-01 was on and when we could recruit those officers at the time. But of course, in this case, I would really like to know how you are using Shran. And have you been able to manage, if you haven't been there for the arc, or if you didn't get him for the arc, did you get him via the NX-01 crew exchange in the Mirror Universe here? But also, if you have questions in general or video requests, you know that I regularly read the comments. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.